Good morning and welcome in our interview with our dear guest, Brendan Bays. Brendan, welcome and thank you very much for your precious time and joining us in our program, Emotions Are Your Power. Welcome, Brendan, here.
Thank you very much. And I'm so thrilled that you're making this beautiful offering to humanity so that we can all come to understand how our emotions can really guide us to our deepest self, to the soul. And they are actually a very liberating force. And so I'm very grateful to be part of this. And I think it's a beautiful project that you've got going.
Thank you very much. I know Brendan for almost 10 years now. She's my teacher. I met her for the first time in Bratislava in Journey Intensive. And then I joined her for the whole Journey Practitioner program, which I can tell you it was a very hard work, but best years of my life at the same time. Definitely, Brendan is the world leading authority in emotional healing and life transformation. And I love Brendan's work very much and her depth of her teaching that she is sharing with the world. Brendan, you are not only a great teacher, you are a very beautiful woman with a big heart full of love.
Well, thank you.
You have, and you will always have a very special place in my heart, Brendan.
As I feel not only for you, Vladimir, but for all the Czech people and the Slovakian people, you know this, I fell in love with the whole people and the culture, and I've been very moved by people's willingness just to get real and to really clear whatever is blocking them and to open into the truth inside and discover the freedom that exists within all of us. And so I've been very moved by your country and by your people. And I always feel very blessed when I have a chance to come there, which, as you know, during lockdown is probably a long way away.
Yeah. Brendan, Journey practitioners from Czech Republic, Slovakia, and Journey friends are sending you huge namaste. And it's really great to have you here. And I know that you miss Prague sometimes. So I know that you like it here.
Yes, I do. And I was meant to be there, as you know, spring to 2020. And I was also going to be in a television show there. And the whole thing just got canceled. And we didn't know that it would be this way for the long term. At that time, we all thought, oh, by the time it turns summer, it'll all go away. And then it kept going on and on and on. And here we are, springtime in 21, and we're still in the same place of hard lockdown. And so I just send a deep namaste to the beloveds there in Prague and Czech Republic and in Bratislava and around the world, wherever you're watching from.
Thank you, Brendan. Brendan, I like very much when you say emotions are gateway to our soul. It's really beautiful. Please tell us something more about emotions.
Okay. Well, one of the things that's very beautiful is that science has now caught up with spirituality. And what science has found, and they can watch this in a laboratory, is that when you feel a strong emotion and you repress it, it releases into your bloodstream a quantifiable biochemistry, which will go to certain cell receptors and block them, rendering those cells incapable of communicating with the rest of the cells in the body. And if over time illness happens, of course it happens where the cells are blocked. And conversely, what's also known to be true is that when we feel our emotions very naturally and openly and freely, like a child does, our cell receptors remain open. And so this is why, because of all the research going on in the field of cellular healing, that on the CDC, the Center for Disease Control's website, the CDC is something we all know in the world right now. It's massively in the news. It's the most powerful medical organization in the world. And what it says there is 85% of all illness has an emotional basis. And the reason they can say that is because of all the work going on in the field of cellular healing. And so I was so moved in my own experience, as you know, Vladimir. It was many years ago in 1992 that I ended up being diagnosed with a basketball-sized tumor. And it really sent me reeling because I was living this natural life. I was a therapist and, fresh and raw fruits and vegetables, working out every day, meditating every day. I was also a medical herbalist and a kinesiologist. And I'd been in this complementary medical field for my whole adult life and certified in very many areas of it. And so, as you can imagine, it was the last thing I expected to happen was to be diagnosed with this tumor. And it really sent me reeling. And part of the great gift of my own spiritual journey and my own healing journey was I found a method for all of us to go on a journey inside of your bodies and to go to those old blocked cell receptors, those old blocked cell memories. And once you've got access to those blocked cells and the memories that are stored inside, you go through a very deep process of release and letting go, understanding what happened to you at that time where you felt this strong emotion and you shut down. That biochemistry was released, and that whole cell memory, that trauma, that pain, whatever it was, it got stored inside your cells. And so, of course, you go through not only uncovering what's there, but releasing what's there, understanding. And ultimately, you go through a process of forgiving what's taken place to you in your life. And somehow that's when you let go of that whole issue, that whole cell memory, that whole programming, so that when new cells are born, they're born devoid of that old consciousness as new regenerative cells. And I can remember when I first went to the surgeon who, gave me the diagnosis of this massive tumor. She said it probably started, it was something when you were age 8 and was just one cell. But that one cell replicated and become another cell, and slowly over time. But by the time I saw her, the cells were replicating exponentially, aggressively. And of course, I was not given a good prognosis. And yet, because of this profound healing journey I underwent, in only 6.5 weeks' time, I healed. I was textbook perfect clean, completely tumor free. And so the journey is very emotional work, born originally from my own direct experience of healing from this basketball-sized tumor, but then subsequently in working with people all over the world, including this work is used by medical doctors. There's 3 hospitals in Israel where, let's say, if you're getting a heart operation, afterwards you spend a week in recovery where you're undergoing journey work to get to the emotional corollary of what co-created the illness. Same thing is true for multiple sclerosis, for cancer, and they have this recovery center. And so it's work that I think everyone can feel comfortable undergoing. And so it's really, I think that this whole time of COVID has been a time for a wake-up call.
Yeah.
Where all of us have had our buttons pushed, and these old buried issues are coming up to the surface. And it's why this work that you're doing right now, Vladimir, is so wonderful for the people who are tuning in, because you're giving them little tools so they can begin to undergo their own healing journey, and specifically dealing with the emotions that are a corollary to whatever's going on in their lives. So this is beautiful work that is being offered, and really it's an invitation from my heart to everyone that, the journey is available in the book, The Journey. It's available also in seminars you can go to where you can really roll up your sleeves and dive in and undergo this life-changing and liberating and healing work. And my prayer is that you take it out and then use it with your loved ones.
Yeah. Thanks, Brandon. This was definitely the idea to bring healing through emotions to people here in Czech Republic and Slovakia, because we are in COVID time, a lockdown. I know that you in Greece as well. You have a very hard lockdown there, and here people you can see lots of frustration, different emotions, anger, sadness, and very often people do not know how to work with all these emotions. So we are very lucky that we can present lots of things from your teaching and share it with people here as well. And Brendan, what do you think? What COVID brings to you and what it brings to humanity?
Well, I feel like when I first came back from Australia in March 2020, I felt like the whole world was being given an invitation to go within. And that with all the various lockdowns happening, that what was happening is over time, it almost like the world became a pressure cooker. And all over the world, people were erupting because what was happening, no one gave any of us a manual. How do you deal with your whole life being shut down, confined with your loved ones, if you are living with loved ones? And of course, what is happening? All these buried emotions stored inside of ourselves, life is pushing our buttons. We feel helpless, out of control. We may have lost jobs. I cannot tell you, Vladimir, how many people I've heard who are in newly coming to the journey who never contemplated divorce. And yet, because of COVID and the pressure cooker that it is, suddenly they're looking at divorce. And people are not knowing how to survive during this time. And so it's a time where we are in this pressure cooker. And the truth is, no one came in the middle of the night and stuck the emotions in us. So for instance, in Prague, I've often been sitting in traffic, and it can happen, let's say that someone cuts you off and up comes the road rage. Well, that person didn't come in the middle of the night and stick it in there. It was already inside you. And all that happened was they pushed your buttons and up came all this rage. And it's the same way with all of us. COVID is pushing our buttons big time. And what the journey enables you to do is, in a very practical and very step-by-step manner, is to go on a journey inside yourself and get to the cell memories that are the root cause of why this eruption of rage is happening. It's been stored in there for a long time, and not only gives you the ability to uncover and expose this, but to heal with it, to let it go, to come to understanding and forgiveness. And so this is why it's been so successful with healing. When new cells are born, they're born without that old consciousness, without that old programming, as new regenerative cells. And so it's really an invitation, I think, to all of humanity that we get real. And we go inside and we uncover what's stored there and really begin to work with what's inside of us, to come to a place of wholeness. And what I love about the journey is it brings you to a place of feeling at home in your own skin, at peace with yourself. It's when you clear whatever blocks you or holds you back or shuts you down on any level of being, any limitation. When it gets cleared, then the radiant love, the peace, the freedom that is your essence can live your life. And so that's what the real invitation is. COVID is an invitation to come home to the love inside, to the peace that you are. This freedom that you came in as. It's an invitation to clear whatever blocks that freedom, whatever shut you down, so that this freedom can live your life.
Beautiful. I can feel lots of healing power in your words, Brendan. Excellent. Thank you very much for this. And I know that you are a very busy person full of energy, traveling all around the world all the time. Now it must be much different from you, all these new technologies, different things.
You have no idea because for the last 26 years, I've been traveling to 39 countries and the journey is translated in 23 languages. I'm working with ministries of education and working with all kinds of outreach projects around the world. And as you know, I was traveling every week. I used to live in the UK, and every week I would travel to a different country. So I'd go from Wales to Czech Republic, and then from there on to Estonia, and there on to South Africa, and then to America, and then I'd end up going to the East and on to Australia, New Zealand, and it was just an around the world tour. And of course, COVID just stopped all of that. And it's been both a healing time and a time where I've needed to surrender deeply in myself because my life is about serving humanity and serving life. And we had to take our seminar business where I was traveling 44 out of the 53 weeks in a year, and we had to morph it into a completely online business. And so that required of me a surrender unlike any that I've had to have, because part of the potency, the power of the journey is that people are opened into a huge presence of grace. And I've been astounded that this somehow transmits on camera. And so now we're offering the full Journey Practitioners program, all virtually. And it's been amazing for me, Vladimir, because I've seen that people who are undergoing that, people who would never come to a live seminar because they would feel too self-conscious, they feel so safe in their own homes. And their process work is deeper than it's ever been in live seminars. And the satsangs, where we meet alive in person and are sharing together and clearing together, have been obliterative and profound and liberating. And I've just been really blown away by the depth of what people are experiencing in this virtual format. And they're sharing that their whole room fills up with presence and they feel embraced in grace as they're undergoing this deep and liberating work. And what's beautiful is they're able to pair up privately in these breakout rooms that we have. And yet there's one trainer there for every two couples that are processing. And if they have any issues at all, they just raise their hand and boom, in comes a journey practitioner to embrace them, support them, and help them through their processing. And so it's allowed a huge amount of support, personal support, interactive support. And I feel like I've really gotten to know the people going through the program at a very deep level. So it's been a revelation for me. And you could never have told me that I would ever do any of these programs, even though I've been live streaming, intros or interviews like this since 2011. This was no big news. There was no way I was going to offer journey work, which is so profoundly deep and liberating. And part of the hallmark of that is we always had a trainer there for every two couples working, and we still do now. Except now they can just go straight in to your private process and support you. And so we're so amazed at the results, both on a physical level, that people are healing physically, but on an emotional level, people say to me all the time, they wouldn't have survived this whole time of COVID had it not been for the journey. And the wholeness that they feel, even though circumstances are nutso. I mean, they're crazy out there, that internally they feel at peace within themselves. And that's what the profound gift is of opening and embracing your emotions, and the willingness to go, not only embrace them, but go into the core of them deeper and deeper until you find the truth inside yourself. And so it's been a real learning time for me. And so, yes, I've been stretched beyond all comfort zones and been amazed and awed and humbled by the depth of healing that's available when in this virtual format.
I know, Brendan, how your seminars are really full of energy, life, and healing transformation. And now with these online seminars, we have even these different possibilities. So this is really great. Even now we can talk to each other through this online interview possibility. It's like you are sitting near me here, but
Yes.
it's really
I feel like
great.
we're sitting on the couch together and
Yeah,
we can
yeah,
look
yeah, exactly.
right in each other's eyes.
Yeah, it's really like sitting, as you mentioned, like sitting in the couch with you. It's really great. And Brendan, people very often ask me about letting go, surrender, forgiveness, and that very often it's quite hard for them.
Yeah.
What can you suggest? What can you
I can
recommend?
suggest one of the things that I learned in my, first of all, my own first process with the journey is I uncovered a cell memory of violent abuse that was in my tumor. And of course, I grew up in a violent household where physical abuse, eventually sexual abuse, was uh, common. And of course, being a therapist, I had been through 8 years of therapy in New York City and had become a therapist myself. And I had thought that I had put this whole, abuse issue behind me, that I'd come to understand it. I even had compassion from why it was my mother was so violent. And so there was all this compassion there for her. And so when I first went inside my body and inside the tumor, I immediately thought it cannot be this memory. I've long since handled this whole issue of childhood abuse. I've long since come to a place of acceptance. And I thought, I'll just do another process like I've done in the past, where I went through opening with the pain and releasing the pain. And I asked the piece that was in the room with me at the time, am I complete? And the simple word no arose in my awareness. And I thought, you know what? I don't even believe this is the right cell memory. And even if it is, I don't know how to complete. And I was plunged into despair and helplessness, of feeling this. I didn't know what questions to ask anymore. I didn't know where to turn. I didn't know where to look to heal. And I just opened and I surrendered in this devastation, in this despair. And as I opened, something inside of me just let go. I didn't fight it anymore. I didn't try to fix it anymore. I didn't analyze it anymore. I just stopped fighting. And as you said, I just let go. And as I let go into the despair, I fell into a field of black nothingness where it was just like this nothingness everywhere, omnipresent, pervading all of existence. And when I wholly surrendered into that, I fell into a presence that I didn't have a name for. It was a presence of peace, of love, of innocence, of being. And it was omnipresent, pervading all of existence. And I asked this peace that was surrounding me, bathing me. A prayer rose. Please, somehow, let me be guided to heal. I don't know how to complete with this issue. I actually didn't expect anything to take place. At an unexpected moment, the word forgiveness was here. And immediately my thinking mind thought, what a load of crap that is. I mean, I already knew about this issue of childhood abuse. I've done years of work on it. I've come to a place of acceptance. What difference could forgiveness possibly make?
Yeah.
And I thought, well, you know what? I've got nothing to lose by trying to forgive. And so even though my mind was saying I'd come to acceptance, it was my body and my heart that told me you can't afford not to forgive.
Yeah.
And when I opened my heart to forgive, it hurt. Because you see, I'd erected this whole noble image of Brandon, the noble, compassionate therapist who'd come to understand her violent past. And I had to face down 30 years of pride, dressed up as compassion. And it hurt to face down that much pride. But finally, I stepped down off my own self-made pedestal and I wholly opened my heart and I wholeheartedly forgave.
Yeah.
And it was while I was forgiving, I realized that that tumor had never been clinging to me. I'd been clinging to it. And 30 years of a blame game, dressed up as compassion and understanding, 30 years of a blame game was finally over. And so very often when we're moving from the place of acceptance, there's a way in which when you accept what's happened to you, it's like you carry this big bag of baggage. Oh, me and my past, my violent past, my traumas, and we carry it. I accept it. I understand it. I have compassion for it. And we carry this whole baggage with us. But something miraculous happens with forgiveness. When you truly open your heart and wholeheartedly forgive, that's when you finally let go of this baggage that you've been carrying for your whole life. And you step into the freedom of being baggage free. And it's in that freedom, in that wholeness, that healing becomes available, that your body goes about the process of healing. And so in my experience, it's very important to first of all get real and to fully empty out all the emotions, all the unspoken words, all the shame, the blame, the anger, the rage, the resentment, the desperation, the helplessness. It all needs to be emptied out, better out than in. And only then can you come to a place of beginning to understand what was going on for you in your life. And ultimately, only when you're wholly empty of all of that resentment is forgiveness available. And then forgiveness works its magic. It's why forgiveness is part of every world religion. Every spiritual tradition has it in the tradition because it is a powerful and miraculous healing effect for the body, for the heart, for the soul. And it's not that the other person gets healed. You get healed. Your heart is free from this, the burden you've been carrying for years. And so what I love about the journey is it gives you this ability to first of all open into that infinite intelligence, this part of you that makes your heart beat and your eyes shine and your hair grow. This infinite love, the enlightened awareness that you came in as. But it also gives you the ability to uncover your own truth, discover your own answers, find your own cell memories, and go through your own process of radical release, radical letting go, radical healing, and ultimately radical forgiveness. And it's when you forgive that you finally let go of your whole story of me and my pain.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward that there's a journey intensive coming up, a virtual one in Czech Republic and in Slovakia. It's coming up soon online virtually. And it's one where you can really roll up your sleeves and dive in and truly undergo your own powerful and liberating healing, not only to heal your emotions, but to heal the body, to heal your life. And you leave that with a set of tools that you can help take the lampshade off the light of your kids, of your family members, your parents, grandparents. And it's a living tool. And the reason I called it the journey is because your life is the journey. And so if people are feeling they really want to use this time wisely and well to liberate themselves, to heal themselves, then I strongly recommend they get to the Journey Intensive that's coming up in Czech Republic. When is it happening?
It's happening in the half of May,
Mhm.
so it's quite soon, and I will be as a trainer over there. I look forward very much for it, and I can definitely recommend this as a gateway to the journey work, because when I remember it several years ago, I was fighting with an illness, and they told me that nobody can help me with this, and it's forever this illness with me here. And thanks you, Brendan, thanks Journey Method, I finally healed, and now I'm free completely from it.
Wow.
Definitely, yeah.
It's the miraculous, miraculous healing effect of being willing to open into your emotions and uncover your cell memories and to discover who you are inside, to discover the love that is the essence of your being and the presence of peace. And that love heals all things. And so
Yeah.
I pray that people value themselves enough
Mm.
and feel called, not by me or not even by you, Vlado, but by the truth within them to begin their journey to come home
Yeah,
to who
right.
they really are.
Yeah. Sometimes people has troubles to find courage to open to emotions, courage to go to this work. And I just want to assure everybody that find courage inside of you, find courage in the healing of other people, of Brendan, and let's start. Let's go. Yeah.
Yeah,
Brendan,
you've got nothing to lose but some old baggage, and you've got everything to gain by realizing your infinite self.
yeah. Brendan, I remember when you were mentioning to us in one seminar, be pioneers of your future.
Yeah.
What the future brings to you right now?
It's for me, it's always the same. It's the prayer to be used to serve humanity in
Mm,
awakening and healing. And
mm,
however that takes form, that is my future. That I can be used by grace, by the infinite, to serve life
mm,
in coming home and to healing their lives, their bodies, their beings. And so, if it means that it's in this virtual context, so be it. If it means that I finally end up being able to give live seminars to the advanced students, hallelujah. But
yeah,
whatever it is, I'm surrendered in service. And this is my service to life. It's why I breathe.
yeah.
So
That's
I
great.
can't know what else the future will bring. I just know I'm surrendered to what this service is.
Yeah. Brendan, as people are watching us, they are writing here to you. Much love and big hug, Brendan. I'm so much grateful for the journey, Brendan. Amazing energy from both of you. That's really,
Ah, that's beautiful to hear.
yeah, big love and energy from people here in Czech Republic and Slovakia. Yeah.
And
And
big love to you.
yeah. And the time is running so fast. It would be very nice to talk to you here even for more time. But time is running so fast. And thank you very much, Brendan, now to have you here for all of your work, for everything you do as a support, even free support for people around the world, how you can show your energy, show your courage. This is really great, and I love you very much for this.
Big love for you too, Vlado.
Thank you very much, Brendan. And it was my pleasure to have you here. Big namaste from Prague, from Czech Republic and Slovakia.
Namaste.
Bye.